This is my #1 signature of Y art. For my title page, I chose blue and purple because they go well together, since they are right next to each other on the color wheel, so that makes them analogous colors. And I did a pattern of squares and making them smaller and smaller each time. My first and second pages are of chapter 1, What is Art? And art comes in all shapes. We use art to express ourselves, grow, interpret, and reinterpret ideas, explore, and develop. And then art is what you make it, and it's unique to what you want it to be. It's not about the process. It's not about the product, but it's about the process. Process over product. And my pages are red and yellow since they also go together really well, since they are analogous colors and right next to each other on the color wheel. My third and fourth pages are of chapter 2, and it's How Does Art Connect to Social Injustice? Chapter 2 talked about human rights and how they pertain to art, and how human rights are inalienable, indivisible, and interconnected. Inalienable is education, arts, and rights. Indivisible is no one can say rights are more important than others, and interconnected, without education you can't fully enjoy the arts. We also talked about identity, naming injustice, providing a vision, connections, envisioning, opportunity, expressing, incorporating, reflecting, and observing. For this, I drew patterns of squiggly lines on each page. For the first page, I chose red and purple, and for the second page, I chose blue and yellow, which are complementary colors. For my fifth and sixth page, I flipped it, and this one is Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and I drew it upside down. It should be flipped. But at the top of the pyramid is self-actualization, which is being the best you can be. And that's the peak of what you can do for yourself. And then right below that is esteem, strength, and respect. Below that one is love and belonging, which is friendship and family. Below that one is safety needs, which is your personal security. And then right below that one is psychological needs, which are your water, food, and shelter, and things like that. For this page, I drew a pattern of little line, big line, little line, big line, and I did this in yellow and green colors because they are also right next to each other on the color wheel, and so that makes them analogous colors, and they just go really well together. My 7th and 8th page have to do with Lowenfield's 8 aspects of creativity, and then the stages of artistic development. For the first page, I wrote about the 8 basic aspects of creativity, which is sensitivity, fluency, originality, flexibility, ability to synthesize, ability to abstract, ability to redefine or reorganize, and ability to organize. And I made these all fun because it says ability to abstract, and so I made it abstracted and made it upside down compared to all the other ones where they're pretty much the same. And then for the second part is the stages of artistic development, and these are the stages of which kids color or draw and how they develop with each year. So the first stage is the scribble stage, which is about 2 to 4 years old. That's an example. Next is the pre-schematic stage, which is 4 to 6 years old, which is that one. You're starting to be able to see what the image is, but they don't quite have all the features correct. Next is the schematic stage, which is 7 to 9 years old, and they're starting to get into details and make sense of things, but they don't quite have everything exact. And that is why the human is bigger than the house and the flower is the same size as the human. Next is the drawing realism stage, which is also known as the gang stage, and that's 9 to 11 years old. And that's when they're really starting to get the hang of it, and when you're really starting to see what the end product is. For the next, it's puesto naturalistic stage, which is 11 to 13 years old, and then the period of decision stage, which is 13 to 17 years old. For this page, I chose orange and yellow because they are also analogous colors and they just look really well together. For my next page, I chose SEL, which are the 5 core competencies, and these are the standards. The 5 standards are responsible decision making, relationship skills, self-awareness, self-management, and social awareness. For my last page, I chose the 8 studio habits of mind. And I drew the circle of the way that they were shown during class. So the first one is stretch and explore, which is play, use mistakes and discover, express, finding and showing meaning, develop craft, technique and studio practice. And as it goes around, I made it kind of go with the circle. Next is envision, imagining and planning, understand arts community, domain and communities, observe, looking closely, engage and persist, finding passion and sticking with it, and last is reflect, question, and explain and evaluate. And then for my very back page, I made a pattern of crisscrosses of blue and yellow. I used these 2 colors because they are complementary to each other and they are also the colors for UNK.